There is a moment most people have experienced but almost no one can explain. You're talking to someone, nothing unusual on the surface, yet something feels different. Their eyes linger a second too long. Their tone softens in a way that isn't obvious, but unmistakable. You walk away wondering if it meant anything, or if your mind simply filled in the gaps. This is where attraction truly lives, not in what people say, but in what they cannot fully control. Modern psychology suggests that attraction is rarely direct at first. Studies in social cognition have shown that humans are wired to mask vulnerability, especially in the early stages of emotional interest. This means that when someone is secretly attracted to you, they are often sending signals they don't even realize they're sending. These signals are subtle, layered, and often contradictory, which is why they are so easy to misread. One of the most powerful forces at play here is something called nonverbal leakage. Researchers have found that while people can control their words, their body language often reveals their true emotional state. In fact, some studies estimate that over 60% of emotional communication is transmitted nonverbally. This is why a simple glance, a shift in posture, or even a micro-expression can carry more meaning than an entire conversation. When someone is secretly attracted to you, their brain enters a state of heightened awareness. Neuroscientists have observed increased activity in areas linked to reward and attention when individuals are exposed to someone they find attractive. This means they are not just noticing you, they are unconsciously prioritizing you. You become a focal point in their environment, even when they try to appear indifferent. But here's where it becomes fascinating. Because the attraction is hidden, it creates internal tension. On one side, there is the desire to move closer, to connect, to express interest. On the other side, there is fear of rejection, fear of misreading the situation, fear of losing control. This conflict produces behaviors that seem inconsistent. They may act warm one moment and distant the next. They may initiate interaction, then suddenly withdraw. To an outside observer, it looks confusing. But psychologically, it is completely predictable. Another key concept is attention bias. When someone likes you, their attention system becomes tuned specifically toward you. They notice small changes in your behavior, your mood, even your appearance. They remember things you said casually days ago. This isn't because they are trying to impress you consciously. It's because your presence has become neurologically significant to them. Interestingly, people often underestimate how visible these signals are. A person might believe they are hiding their attraction perfectly, yet their behavior tells a different story. Subtle mirroring, prolonged eye contact, and shifts in vocal tone can reveal more than direct confession ever could. The real question is not whether these signs exist. The real question is whether you know how to see them. Because once you understand the patterns, something changes. Interactions that once felt confusing start to make sense. Mixed signals become readable. And the invisible becomes visible. The first sign of hidden attraction rarely begins with words. It begins with alignment. Not the kind you consciously notice, but the kind your brain registers before you even realize it. When someone is secretly attracted to you, their body starts to synchronize with yours in subtle, almost imperceptible ways. Psychologists call this phenomenon mirroring, and it is one of the most reliable indicators of unconscious connection. Imagine you lean slightly forward during a conversation. A few seconds later, they do the same. You cross your arms, and moments later, they mirror the posture without awareness. This is not coincidence. Research in behavioral psychology shows that mirroring is driven by a system of neurons often referred to as mirror neurons, which activate when we observe and internally simulate the actions of others. When attraction is present, this system becomes more active, creating a natural tendency to align physically with the person of interest. What makes this powerful is that mirroring is extremely difficult to fake in a natural way. When it happens organically, it is fluid, delayed by a few seconds, and almost invisible unless you know what to look for. It signals comfort, interest, and a subconscious desire to connect on a deeper level. In controlled studies, individuals who engaged in mirroring behaviors were consistently rated as more likable and more attractive, even when participants were unaware of the mimicry itself. But mirroring is only the surface. Beneath it lies something even more revealing: orientation. The direction a person's body points often tells you where their attention truly lies. Even in group settings, someone who is secretly attracted to you will unconsciously angle their torso, feet, or shoulders toward you. Their body is, quite literally, choosing you as its center of gravity. This behavior is rooted in evolutionary psychology. Humans evolved to orient toward what matters, whether it was a source of safety, food, or social connection. Attraction activates this same mechanism. Without thinking, the body turns toward what the mind values. And because this process is automatic, it often bypasses conscious control. Eye contact deepens this signal even further. But it's not just about how long someone looks at you, it's about how they look at you. Studies have shown that when people are attracted, their gaze tends to linger slightly longer than normal, often followed by a quick look away to avoid being caught. This creates a pattern: look, hold, retreat. It's a silent rhythm of interest and hesitation. Even more interesting is how pupils respond. Research indicates that pupils can dilate when a person sees someone they are attracted to, a physiological reaction controlled by the autonomic nervous system. While this is difficult to observe directly, it reinforces a larger truth: attraction is not just psychological, it is deeply biological. Then there is proximity. When someone is secretly attracted to you, they will often find subtle ways to reduce physical distance. They may stand closer than necessary, choose a seat near you, or position themselves within your personal space under seemingly innocent circumstances. This is not random. It reflects a desire for closeness that has not yet been verbalized. However, because the attraction is hidden, these movements are often disguised. They may appear accidental or situational. But when you step back and observe the pattern over time, a consistent behavior emerges. They are always just a little closer than they need to be. What makes all of this so compelling is that these signals operate beneath conscious awareness. The person expressing them may not even realize what they are doing. And yet, their body is telling a story their words have not yet caught up with. Attraction does not stop at the body. In many ways, the most revealing signs appear in the mind. When someone is secretly attracted to you, their attention begins to reorganize itself around your presence. Not dramatically, not obviously, but consistently. And consistency is where truth hides. One of the clearest indicators is the way they listen to you. Most people listen to respond. They wait for their turn to speak, filtering your words through their own thoughts. But someone who is secretly attracted listens differently. Their attention is deeper, more sustained, almost immersive. They don't just hear what you say, they track how you say it. They notice pauses, tone shifts, emotional nuance. This kind of listening is cognitively expensive, and people only invest that level of effort when something, or someone, truly matters to them. Psychological research on attention shows that humans have limited cognitive bandwidth. We cannot deeply focus on everything at once. So when someone consistently gives you high-quality attention, it means they are allocating a significant portion of their mental resources to you. This is not casual. It is selective prioritization. Memory reveals this even more clearly. They remember details you forgot you shared. A passing comment about something you like, a small frustration you mentioned in conversation, even the exact phrasing you used. This is not because they have a perfect memory. It is because emotionally relevant information is encoded more strongly in the brain. The hippocampus, which plays a key role in memory formation, becomes more active when experiences carry emotional weight. If they remember you in detail, it means you are not just present in their life, you are significant within it. Then there is responsiveness. When you speak, they react. Not in exaggerated ways, but in timely, emotionally attuned ways. They laugh slightly quicker at your jokes. They respond faster to your messages. They engage with what you say rather than letting it pass. In digital communication, this becomes even more noticeable. Studies have found that response latency, how quickly someone replies, often correlates with perceived importance. When someone is drawn to you, your message moves to the front of their mental queue. But perhaps the most telling sign is emotional sensitivity. When someone is secretly attracted to you, your emotional state begins to affect them more than it should, given the level of your relationship. If you seem distant, they notice. If your tone changes, they feel it. If you appear upset, they become subtly concerned, even if they don't express it directly. This is connected to empathy and emotional attunement. Neuroscience suggests that when we are emotionally invested in someone, our brain's empathy networks become more responsive to their signals. In simple terms, your emotions start to matter to them on a deeper level. They begin to experience a low-level version of what you are feeling, which creates a quiet but powerful bond. Interestingly, this heightened awareness often leads to overthinking. They may analyze your words, replay conversations, or search for hidden meaning in small interactions. From the outside, this is invisible. But internally, it reflects a mind trying to navigate uncertainty while protecting itself from vulnerability. And that is the key tension running through all of this. They are paying attention. They are remembering. They are feeling. But they are not fully revealing. So the signals remain indirect, scattered across behavior, timing, and emotional response. You don't see a confession. You see patterns. And patterns, when understood, become undeniable. At the deepest level, hidden attraction is not just about signals. It is about conflict. A quiet, internal negotiation between wanting to move closer and needing to stay safe. This tension is where the final and most revealing signs begin to appear, because no matter how controlled someone tries to be, the mind and body cannot perfectly suppress opposing forces at the same time. One of the strongest indicators of this conflict is inconsistency. They move toward you, then pull back. They engage, then become distant. At first glance, this behavior can feel confusing, even frustrating. But from a psychological perspective, it is highly meaningful. Approach and avoidance are two fundamental behavioral systems in the brain. When attraction is strong but uncertain, both systems activate simultaneously. The desire to connect pushes them forward, while the fear of rejection pulls them back. What you see externally is the result of this internal tug-of-war. This explains why someone might initiate a conversation with energy and interest, only to become quieter or more reserved moments later. It explains why they might open up emotionally one day, then retreat behind a more neutral or detached demeanor the next. These shifts are not random. They are the visible expression of someone trying to manage vulnerability without fully exposing themselves. Another subtle but powerful sign is nervous energy. When someone is secretly attracted to you, their baseline level of physiological arousal increases in your presence. This can manifest in small, almost unnoticeable ways. They may fidget slightly, adjust their posture more often, or display micro-expressions of tension and release. Their voice might change, becoming slightly softer or, in some cases, slightly more energetic. These are not conscious choices. They are responses generated by the autonomic nervous system, the same system that governs heart rate and emotional arousal. Interestingly, research has shown that mild nervousness can actually enhance perceived attraction. It signals that the interaction carries emotional weight. But because the person is trying to remain composed, this nervous energy is often contained rather than expressed openly, creating a subtle undercurrent that you feel more than you see. Then there is the way they seek reasons to connect. Not obvious, direct invitations, but small, justifiable interactions. They might ask a question they could have answered themselves, bring up a topic they know interests you, or find situational excuses to be around you. These behaviors are strategic at a subconscious level. They allow for increased interaction without requiring explicit admission of interest. At the same time, they may test the waters. Small, indirect signals designed to gauge your response. A slightly more personal comment. A playful remark. A moment of extended eye contact to see if you hold it or look away. These microtests are a way of gathering information while minimizing risk. They are asking a question without asking it directly. What makes all of this so compelling is that the truth is never expressed in a single action. It emerges through accumulation. One glance might mean nothing. One remembered detail might be coincidence. But when these signals repeat, align, and reinforce each other over time, they form a pattern that becomes increasingly difficult to ignore. And that is the essence of hidden attraction. It is not loud. It is not direct. It does not announce itself clearly. Instead, it reveals itself through consistency beneath subtlety, through emotion beneath control, through behavior that speaks when words remain silent. The real skill is not just recognizing these signs, but understanding the human story behind them. Because when someone is secretly attracted to you, what you are witnessing is not just interest. You are witnessing courage restrained by uncertainty, desire shaped by fear, and a mind quietly asking a question it is not yet ready to say out loud. And once you learn to see it, you realize something profound. Very few people are ever truly unreadable.